Peace, peace. We back up in this thing, man. This is the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com with my brother Rob Blackstorm. We got another powerful video for y'all. So make sure you got your pen and your paper. I'm gonna reiterate that I'm moving forward for the people that's joining the live later. But make sure you have your pen and your paper. Today we're discussing the 9 spiritual rules for spiritual success. We got my man Rob Blackstorm, as I said earlier, from Third Eye Culture. So I'm just like y'all. I'm just here taking notes, so don't mind me. I'm gonna let the brother have the floor. I'm gonna just come in, ask some questions, and also check the chat out to see if there's any questions on the chat. So we just gonna have a dialogue. We just gonna have a build surrounding spiritual success. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Rob, speak to us.
Peace,
Um,
peace, peace.
I got a question though before you begin. How did you come about this, and what is the foundation for this, and how did you compile this list?
Sure.
Peace.
Peace. So the reason for me bringing this list into existence was I was thinking about uh, different ways that people approach spirituality and different ideals and different formats that people embrace spirituality. Everybody's coming from different pathways. Some people come from Christianity, some people are Muslim, 5%ers, what have you, and we're all coming from different paths. But I wanted to compile a universal list that no matter what your path is, no matter what your field of study is, that you could follow these steps and basically clear a pathway to spiritual success, or just 9 things that I think have helped me. And 9 is also a symbol of birth. The 9 looks like a sperm cell at the same time. So there's also significance with that. So
And
just
then
9
you tied in the 333 too, right?
Exactly.
All right, I
Exactly.
just
So
want to
you
make
on it.
sure.
Yeah, you on it. You on it. For Papa, Big Papa Leg Pop. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
Let's get into it.
yeah,
Break it
so
down for us.
the first rule is you have to save yourself in this and the reason I say you have to save yourself is that a lot of times we are taught or we are molded in this society, especially us as Black people. The minute that we gain some information and we learn, about slavery, and we learn that we were kings and queens, and we learn about the gods and the goddesses, we want to save everybody else. We come into this knowledge. We know most people don't know this knowledge, and most people are sleeping in the matrix, so have you. So we want to spread the knowledge. We want to tell auntie, we want to tell our brothers, sisters, folks, everybody else. And that's a great first step because, of course, if something is great for you and making you feel better about yourself and giving you some enlightenment, why wouldn't you want to share that light with somebody else? That's natural. But the first thing you have to realize is that you sharing all this light with other people is you giving your energy away to other people. When that energy is best served to develop yourself and rise and enlighten yourself. And the first step is of saving yourself is you have to be responsible. You have to be responsible for everything. And the path of true spirituality is not the path of being a follower. The path of true spirituality is being an individual, and being an individual means creating your own ideas. There's a saying called "Nothing's new under the sun." Well, I disagree with that saying wholeheartedly, because if you're here and you're on this planet and you're the sperm that made it out of millions, then you're supposed to always create new things out of the sun.
Ashe.
For instance, this device that we're on in 1919, this wouldn't even be an idea in someone's head. You understand? This simple device that we're talking on is not even a concept. Think about that. Like, there's not even a birth, just a basic idea of something like this conceptually. So
Indeed.
this is something new under the sun. So
Mhm.
the key to this is to be, because the thing about it is, saving yourself means that you're responsible for you. That means no preacher, no man, no spiritual leader, no teacher is responsible for you. And when you have that level of responsibility for yourself, it forces you to always point the finger back at you. You know, you cannot blame the devil anymore. You cannot blame mommy. You cannot blame daddy. You know, God forbid you've been molested or you've been hurt in some way.
Indeed.
You cannot blame that even.
Hmm.
You're purely responsible and have the right, the God given right of development. In Cometian society or Egyptian society, one of the morals, and this goes to your own responsibility, is Heru. You know, people see the hawk. I actually have it on my arm. This is the hawk of Heru, and it corresponds to your will overpowering your emotion. And when your will overpowers your emotion, what that means is that you are no longer a slave.
Okay.
And
Can I jump in real quick?
yeah,
I hear this a lot. And as an individual, I mean, I think I've come into an understanding of it. But even when you say it, I'm slightly triggered into what the hell are you talking about? When you start to say will and emotion, can you please talk to me as if I'm a 5-year old? And what is the will? Like, what is that shit, bro?
sure. So the will is the energy that you put forth to overcome your emotional or your primal urges. For example, right? Now let's look at a basic urge. Me and you, we might look and see a woman walk down the street with an ample bottom, right? Nice booty.
Oh
So
shit.
you see her walking down the street. We both look. Now, there's a man out there that will want to touch that booty and will actually go and touch that booty. That's a primal urge, you know, that he has lost control over. We would call him a rapist or a molester,
Right.
right? But there's people out there that are like that. We know that this is a reality that
This is a
exists.
reality. Yeah.
So even in that base, it's like me and you see that, and we have willpower to restrain ourselves and see, like, nah, we're not gonna, you know, give into the primal urge. We're just gonna look and appreciate it. We might even comment on it, but that's about it. That's as far as it's gonna go. Where someone else might just give in. So the will, even in that basic form, is you're using your will. For example, you're trying to lose weight, but the yoo-hoos and the ho-hos are right there on the shelf, you
Yeah.
know. So the will is going to be say, nah, I'm going to overcome the emotion or the primal urge to go eat the ho-hos and the yoo-hoos.
Facts.
That's where the will comes in. You know, it's overusing your mind. It's really mind over matter. We say that a lot, but that's
Right.
what it is. It's mind
So,
over matter.
so with that being said, how is the will and spirit connected? And like, how do we fully utilize will and spiritual success? Because I can understand it as a urge in physical life. Why is it so hard for us as people to have a spiritual will or have a spiritual point of reference to say, I'm going to focus on my spirit to save myself? Nah, I'm going to just join this group. I'm going to just be a part of this society. I'm going to get this job. I'm going to go to this church. Somebody going to save me somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It's never that. And so how do we incorporate the will into our spiritual practice
Well,
to become successful?
we've been conditioned as children to seek saviors from superheroes, you know, fairy tales. We've been conditioned to seek saviors outside ourselves. Look at the religions, the major religions today. One, you have to worship Muhammad. The other one, you have to worship Jesus. You know, these are the major religions today. So
Right.
you're giving your energy to something else. So from that seed that's been planted, we've been taught to look outside ourselves. A lot of people, for example, will leave Christianity, right? And they'll come into mysticism or they'll come into consciousness and they'll still look at the leader of whatever group they're in and rank them or see them as a Jesus figure or a messianic figure. We've seen that with different people. People do it with, you know, Dr. Umars and
Facts.
the
Brother
you know the
polite.
Sedis and the Brother Polites, and these people become messianic figures
Mm.
that we follow, not realizing that they could pick up the same books and learn or learn from them and learn from what they learn and become their own Brother Polite. or their own general study or whatever that they want to
Damn,
do.
bro, that's
You
so
know what I'm saying?
profound. Like that's so deep. Like that is so crazy
Yeah.
because I can imagine though, not too long ago, not having no spiritual grounding, right? And these brothers, like, were my everything, man. So how can I not put them on a pedestal? You feel me? And now you
Mhm.
saying this, and I completely vibrate with you, but I'm just, I guess my role today is just to be somewhat of a devil's advocate, just kind of
Oh,
just like to
yeah.
just see, like I know what it's like to be like, I think we know what it's like to be new to conscious and easily Bobby Hemmett's brother
Yeah.
Phil, like pedestal, regardless, and because they awoken us to some shit, but
Yeah.
literally they really didn't. We did the work, and so
Well,
how do we?
I can't really say they didn't awaken because I've listened to the
True.
Bobby Hemmitts and the
Yeah,
brother and the
I feel
Phil
you. Yeah.
Valentines and all of them too. So there's nothing wrong with sourcing information. There's nothing
Mm-hmm.
wrong with seeing these people as valuable. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing is, and even these wise teachers would tell you, you're not supposed to see anybody that's more valuable than yourselves.
Facts.
And Brother Panic, Brother Polite, all of them, well, not Brother Polite, but I've seen Phil Valentine, Brother Panic, all of them will tell you it's about you. It goes back to you. It's what are you going to do? What are you going to learn about yourself? How are
Right.
you going to master yourself? So you're supposed to seek these people. People are like this, the way I've learned to look at it, right? And I was a student of Ra'u Nefermet with Osar Set Society. And I was definitely under his tutelage. And I still, take a lot of his values and things that I've learned from him. But at the same time, that's his temple. So he has his own way of doing things. So his way of doing things, everything that he said was not suitable for me, and I didn't agree with. So I could still take from him. I see people as trees. So I could still take the fruit from his tree and still take the fruit from Valentine's tree and still take the fruit from Polite's tree.
I should.
But there's some things that are rotten for me that's not going
Right.
to feed me, you
Right.
know? And that's when the will comes in too, because you have to differentiate what are you going to do. There's nothing wrong with joining organizations either. I'm
Okay.
not against that.
Mm-hmm.
But I am against blindly following a person or a human.
Mm-hmm.
That's slavery
Mm-hmm.
in some capacity,
Mm-hmm.
because if the person says we drinking goat milk this month, you know,
But that's kind of
we're not
society, though.
drinking
Like,
regular milk. We got
but
to
ain't
buy
that
goat
the
milk.
but ain't that society how we drink cow milk? But it's no real rhyme or reason. We eat particular animals. Like we don't eat dog, but we'll eat a cow. You know what I'm saying? But how do we necessarily know for a fact that society within itself ain't idol worship or like so I guess you would have to move to step two to kind of bring it all, because I think as I was going through your notes I was like, damn, all of these connect to one another. So like,
Mhm.
let me reiterate, at the beginning of the video I said make sure you have a pen and paper, so let me repeat that, because we're going through the 9 rules of spiritual success. The first rule is you have to save yourself, but just want to let people know where we at. But Rob, let us know.
Yeah, man. And another part of saving yourself is like like you said, we've been conditioned to think alike. We've been conditioned to see things alike. We've been conditioned to follow the rule of the land. Like even on the social media site, let's say Facebook or Twitter, if you have a different opinion than the masses, they're gonna go at you. You
Facts.
know, they're gonna go at you. Go on Beyonce's page and say something disparaging about Beyonce and see how your page gets lit up. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
And it could just be like, I don't like her hair. And you might not really like her hair that day, but they're going to light you up. You know what I'm saying? So that's an example of groupthink. You got to save yourself, because if you follow the crowd, you're always going to be swept wherever the crowd is going. And the crowd is never going to be going the right way. And I don't even want to say the right way. It's never going to be going the way that needs to be going for you, because it has to be if it's going for you. If that's your vibe, if that's your energy, you got to vibe with your tribe. You got to save yourself. You can't depend on a leader or a person to give you the path. The path has to be one that you choose, and has to be one that is beneficial for you in your life.
So this comes across like sometimes we always think that we're doing what we want to do, and then we always stumble and fall, bump our heads, and continue on these patterns. And so I think a lot of what you talk to is like literally breaking these patterns. And us having this conversation is all well and good, but why is it so difficult to break conditions in real life, you know?
Well, conditions and traumas are things that we have programmed ourselves. Because the thing is, this is what happens, right? Something traumatic happens. Boom. I get smacked by my mom at 8 years old. She smacks me repeatedly, right? And I become conditioned, right, to look at women a certain way. I might look at black women a certain way because my mom was smacking me up, right? So she was a black woman. So now I associate black women with the smack. So because it's a physical, it's a physical response. It's physical energy. It had an emotional response. Energy, when we break down the word emotion, it's E, which is energy in motion. So that energy in motion now has become part of the body. So now it's trauma. It's physical trauma because you got physically hit. So now the emotion is there. So that conditioning is there. You replay it over and over and over and over in your mind. So now you become traumatic. So the same way that trauma has replayed in your mind, the best way to take care of any trauma is to reprogram it a different way. And by reprogramming it in a different way means that you take that trauma and you replay it visually in your mind the way that you wanted it to happen. If you wanted that your hug from your mom, you replay in your mind the hug from your mom. You keep replaying that in your mind. You keep replaying that in your mind. And also the way to reprogram it physically is you replay that in your mind while you're dancing to your favorite music. So now when you think of the trauma, now you can't help but thinking of your mom hugging you instead of
Mm.
you thinking about the slap in the face. So now you've reprogrammed your body physically because you've danced, and now you've reprogrammed your mind mentally because you've seen the visualization. And you could even add an affirmation to that, and that goes into part of number two is to believe in the unseen, you
Okay.
know, see things visually in your mind because everything that was created first was created in the mind. Everything that we see, to this phone that we're using, to this computer that we're using, to the home that we live in, to the carpet that we're on, to the floor that we're on. It was an idea in someone's mind. So everything starts in the mind first. And once you create that visualization, like for instance, I wouldn't have anybody on a weight loss plan without them doing visualizations first of them losing weight and then visualizing themselves taking the steps for at least a week or 7 days.
Why would
I would
that
have them
why would
program
that
themselves
be why would that be more detrimental than not doing visualizations? What if I just want to go hard in the gym and I don't care about using my mind to do no visualizations? Why is visualization so important when it comes to wanting to manifest something for yourself?
because the energy that your mind gives your body, once you visualize something and once you put something into your mind, you're basically giving energy to thought. So you're giving energy to an idea. And the more that you give energy to an idea, the more it becomes a reality. What we're doing is essentially activating. We're activating. We're activating a proton. What we're doing is we're spinning an atom. This is going into quantum physics, but we're actually, when we use energy and light up our minds with a visualization, with energy, we actually are creating a thought. That thought goes out into the universe because we're putting energy towards that thought. Once that thought is a visual matrix or a photon, which is light, light is information. Anytime we're dealing with light or we're dealing with an idea, we're dealing with information because it first started here before it became concrete, everything. So everything starts here. So when you got that replaying now, physically your body is going to manifest what you already programmed here because the mind affects the body.
Okay, so can you explain or elaborate this or break it down for me? What's the difference between an affirmation, believing in the unseen, and a fantasy fairy tale? Because particular energy gives me a particular vibration. Like what you're saying is something that I can do and I can feel it and I can understand it. But what I also do is fantasize about like really being in the NBA and I don't got no jump shot.
Right,
Like,
right.
like you think it's funny, but for like I might be thinking like I could be like an ill point guard. Like if I
Hmm. If you think hard enough, right, right, right.
so help me. Is there a difference or are they the same?
Well, the difference is you have to be realistic, right? You can't imagine yourself to be a billionaire, and that's not in your wheelhouse. So you have to be realistic with your visualization. You have to be realistic with what you think you could do. You have to be realistic with what's in your environment. Because if your environment is not going to be able to magnetically attract that in the time frame that you need, so you're not going to be able to become an NBA player and play center if you don't have the physical tools to do that, right? So no matter how hard you imagine, you still have to be realistic. Everything has to still deal with reality because we deal with a reality based world. There's a world with cycles. There's a nighttime, there's a daytime, there's a winter, there's a summer. So we deal with a world, a physical plane that has real world rules. So we have to still play within those real world rules. Like a lot of people will say, well, the law of attraction, how come I can't manifest the lotto? You know, well, the lotto has nothing to do with that because there's so many people that's putting that same idea out there. You think you're the only person that thinking that they're going to win the lotto, that
That's
hit the lotto.
profound.
There's so much
so
energy going towards that one number.
so. Let me, because you just broke some shit down.
Hmm.
A lot of people want to invest in particular ideas, and it oversaturates the idea, which takes the power away, which makes saving yourself important in what you invest your energy in because it's your own shit and it ain't a million people trying to divvy in into your energy. It's just you.
Hmm.
So it's way more power as to, get into consciousness and then I want to win a lottery. Oh, I want to, do shit that everybody been doing. So I'm dealing with it right now.
There's
So
there's
I
power.
appreciate it. Yeah.
There's power in focus. People always say we have a pineal gland, but what is the shape of a pineal? It's a pine cone, right? It's a small pine cone. It's shaped like a point. So there's power in focus. There's power in mental focus. That's where your energy is coming from. That's where the melatonin is secreting from. So
I've
there's
been
power in
thinking about
focus.
focus all day. How does one focus though? If for one, tell me how important it is to meditate, and then tell me why is it so hard for me to do something that's so important for me?
Well, the thing is, there's a lot of distractions. There's a ton of distractions out here, and that's the main thing. There's PlayStations, there's movies, there's dope film, there's dope, there's pretty people out here, there's dope men, there's dope women, you
Facts.
know, there's advertisements, there's nice cars, there's trips. It's very easy to get lost and to get distracted, and because that's the easy life. In the movie The Matrix, the easiest life was the life in the Matrix. That's when Neo was the flyest when he was in the Matrix. That's when everybody was the flyest when they was in the Matrix. It was the easy life. They was chilling. But when they went into Zion, that's when everything was rough. It was harder. And also, the thing is, when you're climbing up this pyramid, or when you're becoming, um, when the more enlightened you become, the less people you have around you because now you're dealing with a secret society of sorts. Even if you're not in a secret society, there's only going to be a limited few that understand you as you climb up this ladder. So a lot of times people don't want to deal with the isolation. I know that was a big thing for myself was dealing with the isolation, dealing with not being around people or dealing with not um, being comfortable with not relating with everybody. And the thing is, you want to relate with everybody. You want to be around everybody who doesn't want to be cool with everybody. But there's a certain, what do they say in the Bible? There's a broad road and then there's a narrow road.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a certain path and you have to decide what type of, because everything is energy. Everything is energy, everything is vibration, everything is frequency. So the word frequency is frequent, is in that word. So it's what you frequent. What type of things are you frequenting? What type of what type of nutrition are you feeding your brain?
Yo, next time, remind me. I gotta get the bombs, bro. You said frequency got the word frequent in it, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So what is it? What
Is
is
what
it? What
you
do you frequent?
frequently think about. Oh
Yeah.
shit. Yeah. Uh. And that's why you can't fake that shit.
You can't fake it.
Ooh, keep
That's why you
going,
could
bro.
walk into
Go
a
in,
room.
bro. Go in.
You could walk into a room, right? And if you're in tune, you could feel the energy of that room. It still goes back to that heart and that feather, being sensitive to your environment, being sensitive to the energies around you. Like you're a reader, there's times where you could get a vibration and you hear the words people talking to you in
Mhm,
your ear because you tapped into a frequency. It's just like you turning into the dial and hitting Hot 97. Hot 97 is not going to sound the same as 90 or 105.1. There's two different frequencies. There's
mhm,
two different channels.
mhm.
So it's what you frequent. So it all goes back to saving yourself. That's why that's the number one thing, because it's up to you. It's what do you frequent. No one could do that for you. You could go to church every week. And if
Mhm.
you don't frequent that on your days that you're not in church, then guess what? You're playing yourself.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You're playing yourself because this is
yeah,
not a lifestyle for you,
yeah.
you know? And the path of spirituality must be a lifestyle in order for you to reap the benefits of it.
So, what's the difference between lifestyle consciousness, hobby consciousness, and is conscious hobby good, bad, a pathway, or are you playing yourself? I don't know, so I'm gonna just ask you.
Well, I would say if consciousness is a hobby, then how my man Benny the Butcher said, if you don't make money from it, it's a hobby. You know what I'm saying? If you don't see any results, it's a hobby. If you're just out here wearing fly unks, dopes, turquoise, amethyst jewelry, the flyest dashikis you could find, the best bracelets with the nicest, hematite you could possibly lodge into it. And you basically are not reaping the benefits of this whole path. And this why are you doing this? You know what I'm saying? What is the purpose? Now there is a purpose because there is a hit of dopamine you're gonna get from the acknowledgement of people saying, "Oh, this looks fly," or "Oh, this is great," and you might even have a few followers on your tail. But at the end of the night, you have to look at yourself in the mirror. And I always say, talking in the mirror is the best thing you could do because you actually are looking at yourself, and there's no one you can hide from. You can't hide from yourself. You can't hide from the truth if you know you're a piece of shit. You can't hide from the truth if you know you're supposed to be doing a certain thing or, meditating or, doing your rituals or saying your affirmations or, working out or whatever it is. And you can't hide from yourself. And the whole purpose of this path is for you to get yourself straight. And the reason you're getting yourself straight is so you could raise your vibration, so you could get more in tune with who you are, so you can master yourself, so you can know thyself. You can know the good, you can know the bad. And once you know the good and the bad, you're at a balance and you're really at that yin and yang stage. And so it's about creating holistic success. And the first step to that is really showing gratitude. If you're showing gratitude, then you're putting forth good energy every day. You're always putting a good energy. If you wake up and you're grateful, that's why the Christian tradition of waking up and praying is still good because you're still thanking God, even though you're praying to an outside God, you're still praying that good things are going to happen for you. You're still praying for good things and you're still putting forth good energy. And it's really about the energy. Jesus is just, I always say, Jesus is the avatar. Muhammad is an avatar. Allah is the avatar. If you use that, it's the same as using Oludumare, or Aser. You're just putting energy into a different thing. So there's nothing wrong with a person. I personally don't have any beef with anybody who's follows a traditional spiritual practice if they're serious about this traditional practice, because
Facts.
you could be out here playing games, you know. And and another thing about gratitude is giving good vibes. You see somebody at the register and they got an attitude, you know, say, "How's your day going?" Oh, I know today must be crazy, right? That's good vibes instead of complaining, you know. You see somebody, say, "How you walking through the house?" Say, "How you doing at work?" You know, what's going on? Giving good vibes is also gratitude. You're putting good energy out into the world. You know, that's, you're doing that. You're conducting that energy. You are responsible. You have to save yourself.
Facts.
This all goes back to, you have to save yourself.
Right. And
Being,
if you've been catching notes, if you've been taking notes, like yeah, not like yeah, like yeah, right down the center with this shit, bro. Go ahead.
you know, it's about like having the gift of life. It's a celebration. You know, it's all about celebrating your life, celebrating your wins, and that's where gratitude comes in. When you're celebrating your wins, you're celebrating the fact that you have shelter, you celebrating the fact that you have money, you celebrating the fact you have children. Even if you and you're down and out, you might be homeless or whatever, you're celebrating the fact that you woke up today, you know, that you ate a meal. The little things, you know, and those things put you in a better spirit, you know,
That's
and
just
it's
a fact.
all about creating a holistic success, you know, bringing the frequency, again, frequent, bringing that energy into fruition on a constant basis and putting good things out there, even in the midst of darkness. You know, you have to become the light, because no one can do that for you. No teacher could do that for you. You have to do that for yourself.
Can you give me an example of how gratitude had pulled you up out of a dark situation and not nothing outside of just being grateful for whatever, even though you had nothing to be grateful for? And really, can you tie it into how this attitude is a healthy attitude when trying to develop a spiritual attitude, I guess. Just help us understand or reiterate, double down on gratitude, because I don't want this point to be missed out.
Yeah, I always say gratitude gives you latitude, you know. Gratitude helps because there was a point in my life. I don't say it anymore because I believe and I know words have power. Um, because it's spelling. So spelling words, spell is in the word spelling. So that tells you anything you spell out, it's power and energy into it. It's actually magic. But anyway, I don't
Ooh.
say I have seasonal affective disorder anymore, but I used to suffer from seasonal affective disorder, or SADS, where every winter, anytime it gets cold, I'll just go into a curl up basically and just get depressed. And then I started what they call a mindfulness practice, which is finding 5 things to be grateful for every day. You know, and at first, you know, the first, you know, after a while, you start saying the same things. You start thinking about the same things. You know, thankful for waking up. You know, I'm thankful for my kids. You know, I'm thankful for my bed. Blah blah blah. But after a while, you start getting creative, and you start really looking at like little things. Like, I'm thankful for my toes. You know, I'm thankful for the fact that I have a toilet. You know, I'm thankful for the fact that I have sheets. You know, I'm thankful for the fact that I have I'm able to drink hemp protein. You know, little stupid things, but
Real shit,
things
though.
things that, you know, doorknobs, like things that, you know, you don't really look at in at an everyday life. And when you start to look at these things, focusing on 5 things a day, it really helped me sort of not be depressed or not. um it's charged up my day in a different way because I was forced to look at the good parts of my day, you know. And words or thoughts have energy, you know. Thoughts that are negative are weighing you down. You know, if you look at the negative sign, it's a minus, right? So thoughts have energy. So when you're depressed and you're thinking that everything is going bad and there's nothing good that can happen, and you're not looking at the good in your life, you're weighing yourself down. You're putting yourself in a negative state. So that's why you just want to stay in the bed and you don't want to go anywhere, because you're just negative. Like, you're putting that minus sign inside of yourself. So you have to put pluses in your life, you know, positive. What's good in your life? What's going great? Do you have good health? You know, do you have a family that around you? What is good in your life? You know, and you
And
have
it's
to
like,
push
man, I
through.
just gotta say, man, it ties into responsibility. Like you can't escape from that either. Too, it's just crazy.
Yeah, you gotta push through. You gotta push through. And the thing about it is that it's very scary when you're first um pushing through the things that you're scared of. Even doing something like this was terrifying. Maybe last year this time I was terrified of doing something like this live and doing videos and stuff like that on YouTube.
Facts.
But again, I sit down and I'll have these talks in the mirror with myself, like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you do this? Like, what's the reason? Okay. And I try to look at like the why. um the why first, the what can I do to fix it, and the how can I go about it. So the what, the why, and the how. And I'll look in the mirror and I'll talk to myself and I'll be like, okay, what's going on? Why you? And really sort it out in my head. And then just roll the dice and take a risk. You gave me a reading and you told me about that, to start taking risk. And that's when I started to have these conversations with myself. I don't know if you remember giving me that reading.
Yeah, that was a powerful reading. I was
Yeah,
gonna
it
ask you
was.
about that,
It was,
like
man.
when you get to the environment, but go ahead though.
Yeah, it just helped me to, push through my fears. And I would also, encourage anybody that is depressed or going through something to start working out. Physical fitness is very important, and not just because yes, everything starts in the mind first. So you want to think about going to the gym or thinking about what you're going to do to work out first, and visualize yourself doing it. I always say that, do that first, but then go at it. Start, even if it's running in place for 5 minutes, even if you're doing 10 or 20 push-ups a day, because the thing is about physical fitness, it builds endorphins, and it just brings feel good hormones into the body. And you need that to start getting out of your depression, and you need that to help raise your vibration. The whole key to raising your vibration is to have your energy level up, to have your energy levels rise. You want to, you want your, you want pretty much your body to be receptive to energy. And the only way you could tune your body to the point where you're receptive to energy is to work your body, because your body has to move. It has to be in motion. Emotion, energy and motion. So when you're putting energy in motion, you're bringing forth the emotion. And when you're riding that emotion, you can manifest stuff. I usually do affirmations even when I'm doing push-ups, even when I go to the gym, when I'm working out. I'll have a visualization and I'll have an affirmation to that visualization. And you'll be surprised the things that manifest when you do that. And you'll be surprised the mindset that you have when you do that, because you're actually programming yourself and you're using your body, your physical flesh. This is Earth, right? You have everything in the universe. All the atoms that are in the universe have been here since the beginning of time. So when you're electrifying them, you're heating them up, you're putting them in motion, you're raising your vibration, and you're able to channel that energy. Just like if something was vibrating, you would see it moving, like you see my hands moving and there's a wave. You're actually sending a wave of energy out into the universe.
So when you were speaking, you're speaking on emotion, but the way that you're explaining it is very much different from my fundamental understanding of emotion. And even I struggle with this in trying to abstract energy and motion, and damn, my girl is tripping. So what's the difference? Is there a difference between where they would call a person quote unquote emotional and have that negative connotation versus the waves that you're creating and the positive endorphins and raising your vibration, and you're considering that to be emotion? Are these the same things, different things? Can you break that down for me?
Yeah, because what happens is when there's so good and bad are different levels or different spectrums of energy. So someone who does quote unquote bad, right, would be someone that is affecting someone negatively. or something else negatively, or even themselves negatively, putting themselves down. Something that's considered good is something that's raising something up, something that's positive, make someone happy, make someone smile, make you feel good. It's positive, it raises someone up, right? So we're dealing with principles of energy. Now, say your question again. I'm sorry.
When people say that thing, when a woman says, or you will imagine a man or a woman to be emotional, and
Oh,
then you're
okay.
speaking to energy and motion, is those the same modalities, same energies, or is that completely different?
Got you. Yeah. So we're dealing with, so now we have the two different spectrums of energy. So when you're saying, damn, I'm emotional, emotion, I used to think being emotional was negative because they always say black people are too emotional or black people don't have emotional
Right.
intelligence. Now, that is actually a gift. And the reason it's a gift is because we have the ability to put energy into motion. Now, if we're doing something, let's say we are doing candle magic, right? We are putting energy into that candle, right? We're rubbing in a certain way, we're putting certain herbs, we might have certain music playing. It's an energy game. If we're praying, right, it's an energy game. We're putting passion into our prayer, we're thanking God or whatever. If we're meditating, we are putting energy out there. We have a visualization, we're at peace, we might be feeling still, we feel a vibration, there's energy there, right? So the thing Tesla said was think of things in terms of frequency, energy, and vibration. So the energy that you're putting forward to your girl when you're saying she's tripping, you'll be putting negative energy towards her because that energy is putting her down. It's not lifting her up. It's not making her feel good. It's not making her feel great. So that emotion is a negative emotion. But the same emotion can be used to, oh, let me see why she's tripping. Let me see what's going on with her. Oh, maybe I
Okay.
need to bring her a drink. So it's just different spectrums of energy. It's what the energy that you're bringing forth does. So the emotion that we're supposed to be using this for is for the law of attraction or to manifest things. When we put our energy forth or our emotions forth for these type of things, that's why we're masters of magic. That's why we're masters of spirituality. That's why we're masters in the church. When we pray for things, things happen. We
Hmm.
could all say when we've been in the church, we've prayed and things have happened. I know I have.
Hmm.
I've prayed to Jesus and things have happened.
That's
You
a
know,
fact.
that's a fact. There's no denying that. There's people that are Muslim that have
Hmm.
prayed and seen things happen. So we
Hmm.
can't deny the reality. This is a reality.
Hmm.
So we have to figure out now that we switch things, what changed? Nothing changed. It's just the focus and the way we're directing our energy, how we're directing our energy, what funnel that we're using to direct that positive energy, what channel that we're using to direct that positive energy. So when we're thinking of terms of energy, then we have to realize that that emotion is valuable. The power that we have to dance is valuable. All those church rituals, those revivals where people are dancing in prayer and passion, what is that for? In the Matrix, before they went and did battle with the robots, they had a big party where they were dancing passionately. These are things that stir energy. These are things that stir emotion. And emotion is just energy in motion. It's all how you channel that energy. It's not the energy itself, it's how you channel it. You have a traumatic experience. That traumatic experience, you could be thinking about traumatic experience and have it hold you back from a beautiful relationship for the next 90 years. Or you could take that traumatic experience and use that energy to say, okay, I'm going to teach somebody else not to go through this. I'm going to create a foundation. I'm going to figure out how this hurt me and how I could get over it or how I could move forward. This is a choice, but this is the energy or the emotion. What emotion are you putting forth? What energy are you channeling?
So when you had spoke earlier and you said the will over emotion, could you very well say that the will could be incorporated into emotion and you could begin to direct that emotion with that will? And would that be different from what you're saying, how black people we pray in church and then one could easily say, y'all niggas is praying for nothing because ain't nothing changing for y'all? Would that then tie into saving yourself? So everything you say, if we listen into this full build, This shit is profound. I never heard nothing really broke down this way. So I'm just saying, I'm just letting you know when I'm pulling from what you putting out. So
Yeah.
just keep going. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, so like another thing, I know we done got off the numbers, but I'm gonna go to number six because and number six is stop asking for permission and acceptance. And that's another thing when you're going through spiritual success, when you're trying to walk a path to spirituality, there is not going to be there's not going to be you're going to have a certain society, a certain tribe that's going to vibe with you. And you got to learn to vibe with your tribe. And the good thing about the internet is you can find a tribe on the internet to vibe with. You don't have to be around them. You don't have to be sitting around them. I got knowledge of self. I was a 5%er from 1996. So there was no internet. There was no, you had to go to libraries. You had to go get books. You had to like sit in ciphers to learn things. And you got a lot of fake news. You know what I'm saying? Because how many libraries can you go to? How many books can you have? How many bookstores can you go to? So the thing about now is you could have a tribe of people that vibe with you and that think the way you think, and it doesn't have to be so isolated. But when you're walking on this path, you have to accept that you're going to be different. You have to accept that your friends are not going to be the same friends that you once had, and you have to step out of your comfort zone because your comfort zone, again, if you're not where you want to be, then you have to figure out how to get where you want to get to. And how to get to where you want to get to is stepping out of your comfort zone and stepping out of the things that you have a pattern of doing. Because again, we're dealing with frequency. Frequency, we go back to frequent. So, what is it that you've been doing frequently? And if you take the time to sit down in some silence. That's why meditation is dope for that. But if you don't even want to meditate, you just sit down for an hour in some silence and see what have you been doing, and then write it down and assess it and see if that's what you want to continue to do, and then make a plan to change and take
So
action.
you would present me this. I'm walking down the street, going to Five Guys, get my double bacon cheeseburger, and you present this to me. Why is spiritual and success synonymous? Like, what is the success that spirit has to offer? Um, I ask that question because I feel that when it comes to groups and friends, they're giving us something good. And if you tell me, step away from my friends, get into my spirit, what am I going to get from that? Especially at the beginning when it's hard and I got all of these patterns and things of that nature. So help me with friends and spirit and reconciling that bridge.
Well, the whole goal of a spiritual path or spiritual success is to be at peace, right? The whole goal of this is to be at peace financially, to be at peace in your relationship, to be at peace with yourself personally, to be at peace with your environment. The whole goal of this is to be at peace, to be at one with yourself, and to be at one with nature, right? The union of body and spirit. So the whole purpose of doing this is to be at peace and also to gain spiritual power. Because when we pray or when we're doing magic or when we're making petitions, we want things, right? We want things to happen. We want certain things to manifest. And the whole goal is to be in tune with your environment so you could A, recognize how to manifest those things, and B, see these things manifest, right? Which puts you at peace. So the whole goal is to manifest, create, and to be at peace in your manifestations and your creations. So it's love and peace at the end of the day because you want to get what you love, the things that you love, whether that be money, whether that be a good relationship, whether that be great housing, and you want to be at peace in those things. You want to have a good relationship with your family, You don't want your house to burn up and get tore down. If something happens, you want to be able to afford to fix it. So you want to be at peace when those things. You want to be in good health, right? Because you love yourself. So you want to take care of your body. So that's the whole goal, to be able to create what you love, do what you love, and live what you love, and be at peace in those things. So that's the whole reason for taking steps towards spiritual success. Otherwise, there's no other reason to do it. Otherwise, you're wasting your time, which a lot of people are doing. A lot of people are coming under the guise of being spiritual, but they're wasting their time, because spirituality is hard work.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart. Coming down this path, man, I can't tell you how many ups and downs, and how much you want to give it up. There was a
Right.
point where I'm like, fuck this shit. I just want to get money.
Yeah.
And then you get a certain amount of money, and then you're like, damn, I'm still not happy. And you're like, why am I not happy? You know, why am I not happy? And I made this. I made this amount of money. I'm doing this. Why do I still feel like I'm not 100, or I'm not whole? And that's where you got to look at the man in the mirror, like Mike Jackson, you know, and start with them and see what is it that you're missing.
I,
And I
I,
guarantee it's going to be love, and it's going to be peace in some form or fashion.
that's powerful, because that really answers the question when it comes to spiritual success, how I see it. And I was just asking this, like, because I kind of knew what the answer was going to be.
Yeah.
So write your life. I'm a proponent of that. I never imagine nothing of this. I had to write it down first, from subscribers to views to whatever. I initially wrote it down. So how has that incorporated into your practice, and why is right? See, I utilize it, but I don't know why it works. Do you know why it works?
Well, the thing is, a spell. So again, it goes back to the word spelling. So when you're writing things down, you're actually writing out a spell. You're writing out, and there's many examples. There's examples of Michael Jackson writing down him being a world famous entertainer, Octavia Butler, a famous author, writing down how she would be a world famous author. And there's many other examples of people that have literally written their life. Jim Carrey writing down his check for $2
That
million.
check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on a check, and cashing in a year later or something like that.
Same exact money, like $10 million for Dumb
Yeah.
and Dumber.
Same exact money that he wrote on that check. So there is power in the written word. There's magic where they have magical rights. So right, same RITES and WRITES.
Oh, I need the bomb effect. Next
So you
man.
go,
He
you
said,
go to
this nigga said magical rights.
mm,
Right.
right.
Oh, go ahead, man.
And
Go
then
ahead.
if you need to heal yourself, because we all know, right, pharmacy, or the pharmacopoeia, right, was once considered magic, right? Medicine was once called magic before it became called medicine. That's why the symbol of magic, or the symbol of medicine, is a magical symbol, which is the staff of Hermes. But we won't get into that now. But if you go to
Next
write,
video. Next
you're,
video.
you're going to write aid, right? So it's the same thing, RITE. So you're going to a magical shop. You're going to write,
Did you
you
just say
know,
Rite
so
Aid, bro?
you're going to
Oh
write
man.
aid. So it's a magical right. It's the same thing. It's the same science. See, it's just right in front of us. You know what I'm saying? So that's the power.
Yo.
So with those examples, that should be enough to convince the public that there's power in the written word. There's superpower. And they always say the pen is mightier than the sword. Everything that's passed down, or everything that affects us, is passed down in laws. Somebody signs off on it to this day. It's not done digitally. Laws are still signed by hand, because there's power in the written word, and there's power in writing. It has an effect. So yeah, I definitely subscribe to that practice. I've done that millions of times. I've done that even with doing this and doing videos, and I'm going to do videos, and I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and I'm going to be confident in doing it. And writing those things out definitely makes a difference. And it's part of also my affirmations. So writing these things out are part of my daily affirmations as well. Repeating these things in my mind,
But that
on
seems so super easy and so super powerful. Why aren't people doing it? Why isn't this mainstream? Why isn't this common knowledge?
Well, the lady in the red dress, bro. Just like in the Matrix, right? Everybody's looking at the lady in the red dress. You know, that's what the world is designed to do, to make everyone look at the lady in the red dress, for everybody to be distracted, for everyone to look at Agent Smith. And the thing about it is, this pathway is not sexy. You know, like right now, shoot, I'm looking for a wife. And I'm like, who am I gonna find?
Me
You know
too.
what I'm saying? What am I gonna find out here? You know, and it's like, you know, who is going to be able to deal and understand where I'm coming from, you know, with these ideals and these topics. It's like, who am I going to be able to find that is compatible enough to converse with me and build with me and also have the same morals and ethics? It is not to say I'm perfect. Sure, we all are works of art, so to speak, but I'm working. So I need somebody else that's working too, you know. And that's the thing, you know, a lot of people
Powerful.
are out here that are not, you know, that are faking it to make it, you know. And I want someone to, because that's what a twin flame is, you know, going back to the love conversation, two people on fire, you know. What's your fire? What's your passion?
Passion.
What you passionate about? What's your fire? All right, your fire matches my fire. Yeah, let's fucking phoenix together, you know.
That's
So
so perfect. Like that's perfect to me. Like I can't even imagine love, like even if I got the most, whatever person in the world, if she don't share my interests, what is that? You
what
know?
is that? Yeah, yeah. It's like it doesn't make sense. It's like trying to put a key in a lock that doesn't fit. You know, you want that lock to turn and to keep opening doors. You want that shit to be like a skeleton key actually,
Man.
and keep opening doors. The more doors open, the better the relationship is for you, for her, you know,
Yeah.
and together. So
Yeah.
it's it's like trying to true abundance. It's a 360-degree process. You could have $1 billion. I know people in my family that are wealthy, you know, legit close to a millionaire or not a millionaire above, and they're not happy. You know, and I saw that growing up, and I'm like, damn, why is this person not happy? Like they have, you know, 2, 3 cars in the driveway, houses everywhere. Why are they not happy? And you know, I realized that it's not about the abundance is great, but it's how are you treating your family? You know, are you spending time with your children? Are you able to enjoy time with your friends? You know, are you taking care of yourself health wise? You know, how do you perceive yourself
Hmm.
when you look in the mirror? Do you love yourself? Do you love the person that you're looking at in the mirror? Do you love the person that you are? And having that is way more important than having all the money in the world. We've seen rappers like Mace, you
Hmm.
know, make all this money, and Mace is like, "Yo, I got to go to the church because I don't really have no one to spend it with. I can't
Hmm.
trust nobody." You know what I'm saying? The people I grew up, they trying to get me. People try to
Hmm.
rob me. So
Hmm.
imagine having all that money and you don't have nobody to hang out with.
Right.
You know, when you have fake people around you all the time, that's got to be devastating to think you made it and you really didn't make it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
To have the world in the palm of your hand, but yet and still you look in the mirror and you're not happy, or you don't have someone to share it with.
Well, can I pose this question to you? It relates to fatherhood. This is just a question that I had in my head. I didn't come up with a real answer. I just had it just floating around in my head. It's two fathers. It's a father who is a traveling businessman and he supports the family like no other, whatever the kid wants, the kid gets. And then you have a father who's a janitor or something to that effect. And, they barely make it, but he's around the son every day. And maybe he could have been more in life, but he's not. He's literally doing what he can for his family, and maybe this janitor job, he can walk to it, walk back, whatever the case may be. Who's the better father? I don't know if we off topic or not, but you had spoke to this and it kind of triggered that question when you was speaking to the rich dad and him not being happy or how you treat your family. Um, what if I was raised to think that, I gotta just provide for my family financially and I'm a good dad? Um, how do I absolve that? or
Well,
even being broke and not being able to provide, but then being around your kid and getting ridiculed because you're not financially responsible. Like, what is this?
well, the thing is, two things can be false and two things can be true at the same time, right? So you could be a great dad at home with your kids and be a janitor, but if your kid is looking at you as a janitor and he's not proud of you, right? And you feel like you're not holding down the weight of the family, then are you happy? You know? And at the same time, this person who's a truck driver that's always away from his family and never home and never gets time to spend with his family, is he happy? So I would say it's whoever's the happiest in those situations because that's what this whole thing is about, peace and love. So are you giving the most love? Like I would say the janitor, if he's not doing anything to better himself, then he's not the better dad, than the guy who's busting his ass. You know,
Yo,
to
that's
provide for his family. Because if he
yo.
knows that there's more he could do and
Yo,
he's not
Rob,
doing it,
you're not giving nobody no breaks today. You
nah,
just, yo,
bro,
you didn't give nobody no breaks
you
today.
gotta save yourself, bro. You
Yo,
gotta save yourself. Because the thing is, I have these hard looks at myself, bro, and they'll break me down. Like I might
facts.
have this hard looks at myself, and I might be broke down for a day because I'm like, yo, I should be doing this, or I need to be doing that, or I need to be doing this. And I'm right now, I'm at the point where I'm not feeling guilty about it, because I know there's a time and place for everything, but at the same time, I know that I'm responsible. And if shit doesn't go the way that I want it to go, I have to look back at me. And it's not a source of me being depressed about it. It's just me getting back on my feet. Like, okay, I recognize that slip. Let me get on my feet. Let me get on my grind. Let me get back on my grizzly. You know, but yeah, man, that's the thing with self responsibility because all the fingers point back at you. And that's really what this spiritual thing is about. It's about getting to the level of in Kemet they call it getting to the level of Osiris or Syrian level, where everything is coming this way. You're literally being fed from spirit now. So you're at a level where you're not worried about the outside world or the outside influence. You're worried about the inside world and the inside influence and what you allow yourself to be influenced by and what you allow yourself to let in and what you allow yourself to produce. And now you're a co-creator with God. And that's the best part about being spiritual because now you're a co-creator with God. God gives you the tools. God says, God, you might hear a voice that says, yo, go here. And you go there, and that's the person you're supposed to meet that's going to help you with business. Or check your phone. You check your phone, you might get an inbox from somebody that was supposed to give you, a pathway to a financial success. But these are things that you are now in tune in or you're tuned into because you're on a spiritual path. You have raised your brain waves, you have elevated your mind to the point where now you can magnetically attract because your frequency has now elevated from doing positive things. That's the whole reason you do positive shit. It's not so you
Hmm.
could feel good about yourself. It's not so
Hmm.
you could beat yourself in the chest. The whole thing of doing positive things, again, is getting pluses. And the
Hmm.
more pluses you get, the more the frequency raises, the
Hmm.
more you're rising up your spine or your tree of life, which is within your spinal cord, and you're rising up with positives. Because when you do negative things, it's a negative, it's a negative energy. That's the science. Even if
Hmm.
you break it down scientifically, it's a negative.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
a down. So you're pushing yourself down. The
Hmm.
energy you're putting out is putting things down, it's pushing you down. This is why depression, you just want to lay in the bed because you're just thinking negatively. It
Just
has a
down.
weight. It has a negative energy, a downward weight. So
Hmm.
the whole point of living a spiritual life is so that you could tune yourself into different frequencies, into different wavelengths, and ride those wavelengths so that you can manifest the things you want. You can co-create with the creator. And then you're saying something. Then you have hood mystic channels. Then
Yeah.
you have dope books.
Yeah.
Then you have, beautiful wives. Then
Yeah.
you have, 2, 3 cars. Then,
Right.
you're now you're riding a real wavelength, of success.
And you talked about something, and are they related? when you speak to relationships and vibration, we got a question on the chat where a lady that asks, can you rewrite your relationship, or is it 100% dependent on your partner when it comes to raising your vibration or saving yourself? Um, because I deal with that a lot. Like, you do readings, I do readings, and the energy that a person may give off, like, towards another person, it's very strong. Like, they're not gonna break that bond or that tie, so they're trying to figure out different solutions to make the relationship work. Is that of spirit, or is that of humanity?
Hmm. That's a good question. So the person is, so they're trying different ways to make the relationship work.
Like, can we rewrite our relationship by raising our vibration, or can we change our relationship some way by not involving our partner based upon the will and emotions and things of that nature? Like, how deep can we get with this um matriculation of the matrix, or
Good,
is there
good
certain
question.
rules?
Good question. Good question. So, all right. So when we're dealing with energy and we're dealing with frequency and we're dealing with vibration, right? We're moving past just the flesh, right? So we go back to when you go into a room, if it has tension or something, you could feel the energy, you could feel the vibration. So if you're working on yourself, if you're dealing with self development and you're dealing with self growth, then you're affecting the environment that is in the room. There's no way, shape, or form. Your aura is affecting your environment. That's wherever you go. You're emitting a frequency. You're emitting brain waves. You know, you have sound waves. You're emitting frequencies every day. Your heart has a beat. That's a frequency. So yes, you can affect your relationship that way. However, now again, if you're trying to tune to Hot 97, right? and you get 105.1, you know, somebody, both dials got to move to Hot 97 in some way, shape, or fashion for the frequencies to align, right? If I send you a text, it got to go to your number. You know, I can't send a text from my 347 number and it doesn't hit your number. It's not gonna hit. There's no way. This is a frequency.
Yo.
This is the way we live in real life. So we have to take as above, so below. So it has to direct. So if you're in a relationship with someone and they're not willing to ride that wave, then you're going to be ascending and you're going to be leaving them behind. And
Mhm.
at some point, you know how it goes.
You
This is
talking
just
about
human nature.
frequency and
This
frequent, and y'all gotta be frequently on the same page,
Y'all got to be
or
on the same page, or else it's not going to work because you're going to be leaving someone behind, and the person that's left behind is on a lower frequency. So
it's
the way frequency works is if they can't get on that wave, they cause static, right? There's going to be static on your radio if you can't hit that frequency. There's going to be static,
have
and
you
that's
seen
how
that
it is with
movie, bro?
people.
Have you seen that movie?
What's that? Static?
Frequencies. Nah,
Yeah,
frequency.
I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
I did. That's a dope shot. Yeah, that's a dope movie. Yeah.
This
You
is
on it. You on it.
powerful, yeah.
That's powerful. Yeah.
Everything that you saying is kind of like, in that
Mhm.
relationship where
Yeah. Even
brother.
in the end where they had to play music because
Mhm.
music was a different frequency. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
that's
saying?
how
So
they was.
yeah, because it was a different frequency, they was able to break through because it was a different sound. So they was able to break focus with the music. That was a deep movie though.
Yeah, and then it
Yeah,
kind of ties into your final point too, like dream big, dance hard. Like,
yeah, man.
what is that?
Dream big and dance hard, man. That's my final thing. Because the thing is, when you're doing any sort of ritual, when you're doing prayer, when you're doing magic, when you're doing meditation, you want to make this thing a religious experience. And religious experience doesn't mean, picking up your Bible or your Quran or anything. What I mean in religious experience is you want to catch the Holy Ghost, right? You want to catch the Holy Ghost when you're not in church because you want to feel what you're doing. You want to put as much energy into what you're doing. Your emotions are what is the magic. Emotions is what the magic is. When you're putting vibration and frequency and power into any type of spiritual work when it comes to self-development, that's the magic. When you're doing a money spell and you're thinking about this money you're going to get and you're visualizing yourself getting the money and you're working with Haru, you're working with Oshun, or you're working with whatever deity you're working with, and you're putting in that emotion in it, that's the magic, because you're sending energy out into the universe. You're sending waves out into the universe. There's wind out here. You know what I'm saying? There's wind out here. There's solar wind. You cannot see. Me and El Melchizedek, me and the Hood Mystic right now are sharing the same air, and he's all the way states apart. But I'm
Facts.
inhaling, he's inhaling. All
Yeah.
y'all listening on the line, we're all inhaling the same air.
In the
We're
same
recycling the
space.
same air.
Yeah.
So do you think when you put this emotion out, you beautiful melanated being, right? Who has the most power of emotion because you're melanated.
And I
You're
guess
melanated. Melanin deals with energy and vibration. That's specifically what melanin is. It takes in sunlight, it absorbs it, and it makes it energy for you to recharge and put it back out. That's why we dance so good. That's why we're on tune and on beat. That's why I could do a move like this and it's still rhythmic,
right.
right? Because that's energy. We're putting energy out into the universe. With every breath, we put energy out. With every thought, it's a brainwave. It's a wave. It goes out into the universe. This is why we do our rituals, people that are into mysticism, on the full moon, because the moon is pulling on the water that is in our bodies, just like it pulls on the tide on the earth. The moon is pulling that water from our bodies, which is pulling our thoughts, the things that we write on our petitions, the things that we are thinking about, the things that we have put in our candles, the herbals, concoctions that we use, they are all manufacturers of energy and frequency. If you are honoring a deity or a god or a goddess, you are honoring the frequency of that deity. This is why they all have colors. Oshun is a certain color, which is a wave of light. A
Hmm.
wave of light scientifically is a photon. Waves of light, photons have energy. There's a specific energy that Oshun has. So you're putting forth that energy, that E energy, into motion when you're
Right.
doing that ritual to put that out into the universe, so that when you carry it out, or the full moon carries it, or the air and the oxygen carries it out into the universe, it'll circle back to you. You're dealing with the cycle, the earth rotating on its axis counterclockwise, right? We're dealing with the cycles of the night and day. We're dealing with the cycles of moisture. In Kemetic theology, they say one of the first gods was Tefnut. Tefnut, if you break Tefnut down, Tefnut, Tefnut is actually moisture. So why would they say one of the first gods is
Right.
moisture? Why
Right.
is one of the first Cometian gods Nut, which is the sky, the darkness of the sky, the blackness of space? When we're dealing with um, when we're dealing with the science of dark matter is nothing but an energy absorber. All light comes out of dark matter. Most of energy is space is dark matter. So all light is emitted out of dark matter. All you are dark matter. If you're melanated, it works the same way. You are emitting light, right? And everyone has melanin. So this is not to say if a white boy is on his grizzly and doing his work, and you have all this melanin and you ain't on your grizzly and you're not doing your work, that white boy is gonna beat you,
That's a fact.
because hard work beats talent, baby.
Facts.
You might be talented with all the melanin in the world, but hard work is still gonna beat talent
Yeah.
all day. So you could talk all you want about Joel Osteen, right,
Hmm.
or all these other ministers, but
Yeah.
he's making his melanin work for him. Whether he's conning people, whether he's manipulating people, that's not the point. The
Hmm.
point is that he's putting his energy out there and he's manifesting something. So you cannot deny him for the gifts and for the work that he's putting in this world, because that's what this whole thing is about. Manifestation is about co-creating, you know, and you could co-create with the wrong thing too.
And so can you co-create with the wrong thing? So could you tie into co-creating with the wrong things, how people get their emotions tied up into situations, whether it be media, reality TV, they cousin and them, street beef, etc., Takashi 69, and all of these different things. And maybe not the older generation, but definitely the youth who are tattooed to their phones. Um, when you're speaking to this, I'm automatically tying into, okay, that's why they did the Gucci shit. Okay, that's why they did the Burberry shit. Okay, that's why they locked up, you know, you know, every black man that ever sung a song before.
Right.
You know what I'm
That's why
saying?
Michael Jackson's on TV tonight.
Yeah,
You
like
see it?
yeah, it's repetitive and kind of monotonous, especially since I say since Trayvon Martin, they've been ritualistically making an example and leaving emotional imprints daily. And I mean, you see it, but as you put this talk together, I can definitely see how the manipulation of emotions could subdue a whole people. And it's just like, damn.
That's the science. You know, that's the science, man. With the R. Kellys, with the Michael Jackson documentaries, you have to the first thing is, you know, commerce is energy. It's called currency. So currency, we're dealing with a current. So current, we're dealing with power. When you're dealing with power, you're dealing with energy. So when you're dealing with currency, you're dealing with energy, right? Money is a resource so that you could acquire other things. So it's a source of power. When you're dealing with power, you're dealing with energy. So it all goes back to energy. So so people have been taught to worship money. We've been all taught in the society to worship money. There's
True.
songs about it. There's
Money, money,
commercials,
money,
TV shows,
money.
get the money, money over everything. And the thing about it is when you put money over everything, you also put money over your morals and you put money over the things you normally wouldn't do. And you are able to be compromised. Because when you're influenced by money, shit, if I give you $2 million, you're going to fuck a pig on live TV. You know what I'm saying? Because I gave you, now, normally, would you do that? Maybe not. But the power of money, right? But the power, right? The energy, the currency of money will make you change your mind and influence you to have sex with that pig on live TV for the money, for the security or the comfort of that money. But again, you got to go back and look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? That mirror is still going to talk to you every day and you're going to think about you sleeping with that pig. So the power of influence is high nowadays. And the reason the power of influence is so high is because if they could keep us on a negative wavelength, and if they could keep the energy or keep our energy always thinking about something negative, always thinking about the next shooting, the next cop shooting, the next Gucci, the next Burberry. Like Burberry and Gucci don't want us wearing their things. Like it's obvious. With
That's
the
a fact.
Burberry thing, like they basically trolled Black America. Like a couple of days later, you got a noose and a hoodie. Like
That's
you
crazy.
did the Trayvon and the whole hoodie thing. Talk about his nautical. Like, come on, what kind of and even that whole science of it being nautical,
Yeah,
right? It's still
maritime
dealing with some
law.
wave. It's still
Yeah,
dealing with some emotional because when you
yeah.
deal with emotions, you're still dealing with waves
Oh,
at the same time.
yeah.
So that's I'm saying it's nautical with some science at the same time too, right? But the whole science is if they could keep the energy negative, if they could always keep Black people with a negative story, with something that keeps them on a low frequency, Burberry, Gucci, R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, cop shooting, this person's racist, this person's calling on the phone, and we feed into that. Like I tell my cousin and I tell my kids, never use the angry emoji on Facebook or any social media. I said, if it gets you that angry, log off because you're actually putting a physical response. So now you're physically vibrating to that negative energy. You're actually making it a part of yourself physically because you press that negative or that angry face emoji. If it's that bad, just log off the internet. Again, you're responsible for you.
Facts.
So the key is if they keep us negative and they keep our mind conditioned, again, frequency. So the
Mhm.
frequency, the frequent negative, frequent negative, frequent negative, it becomes a frequency. So now you just start seeing negative shit everywhere. This happened. Oh, I'm mad. This happened. No, I'm mad. This happened. No, I'm mad. Well, how long are you going to be mad? You're either going to do something or keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? If you're not gonna do something, like I remember when Trayvon got shot, and I said this in a video, and I remember when I heard the verdict. I remember where I was, and I remember the feeling in my chest. You know, like the feeling of when they found someone not guilty. You
It
know,
was
the
weird too. It was like a late
yeah,
night and shit. Like
yeah,
it
it
was
was
at
almost
night.
like I got hit in my chest. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like it was serious. You know, and I just remember like the frequency, and I was caught up in it at the time. You know what I'm saying? Because it was new, it was a big thing, and
yeah,
they kept showing different dudes,
yeah.
and then eventually I came to realize like why are they doing this? And then I came to realize, oh, these are public lynchings. Oh, these are to put fear into black people. Oh, this is why they're doing this. Okay, now I understand the energy behind it.
The
So
science.
let me not, the science behind it. So let me not feed into it. So let me not watch these cop videos. Let me not pay attention. If I'm not going to do nothing to help fight or fight these dudes off, then let me not pay attention to it because that's not my fight. And you have to, and then again, that's going against group thing because the group is going to say, "Oh, you got to fight black people." Well, what are
Yeah,
you doing? Are you hashtagging behind a keyboard? Like, how is that really helping somebody?
thanks.
You
Yeah,
know what
true.
I'm saying? How is that really helping somebody? And if the men and these men, and the way I look at it, and it's controversial, but if the men and these people's families are not stepping up the way I think they should and the way I would, then I can't put my neck on the line for these people when I have my own family. You know what
Nah,
I'm
because
saying?
they all settled out of court for cash
They
settlements.
all settle out of court for cash settlement. And think of how much stress people put themselves under, man. Think of how many meals
Yeah,
people try to buy or how many tubs of ice cream people ate from the stress of Trayvon, from the stress of this person, from the stress of this person getting shot, from the stress of Gucci, from the stress of Burberry. Think of how many people have retail therapy during
yeah,
these times. Think of how many people have spun into depression because of these things, which, and you already might have some bad shit going on. Now I log online or I turn on the TV and I see Gucci with
yeah.
some blackface shit, and everybody's telling me to be bad. Ti telling me to be mad. You know, seeing this man
Yo,
telling me to be
you.
mad.
This is
Everybody
a
telling me to be mad, and now I got to be mad. Like, how long do I not? I'm mad at the job I got. I'm mad
yeah,
at the place I live. I'm mad because I'm not making enough money. I'm mad because my girlfriend or boyfriend gets on my nerve. Now I'm mad at Gucci.
yeah, yeah,
That's a frequency going.
yeah.
It's
Frequent.
frequent.
That's frequent.
It's frequent. So you got to choose what you're going to feed your mind. Is it worth it me beefing over about Gucci? Is it worth it me beefing over every cop shooting? Now, if I'm going to do something, that's different.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because now I'm using that energy. I'm not just storing energy. I'm not just taking the negative energy and storing it. Now I'm taking that
Absorbing.
negative energy and I'm creating Vasucci for
Hmm.
blacks. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking
Hmm.
that energy and negative energy and I'm creating, you know what I'm saying, you know, cops go away in my neighborhood, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I'm creating my own police force. I'm taking that
Right.
energy and now I'm co-creating with God. I'm
Hmm.
using that energy and I'm co-creating. Now I'm co-creating with God. I'm using that energy and I'm creating solutions. But I'm just taking in anger,
Hmm.
then what am I doing? I'm poisoning myself. I'm
But
taking
then
in,
you speak of a world, right, of millions of people who could make a decision, right, to change their whole pattern. Like we could really scale down this video, and explain this to people and have them really elevate themselves and make better decisions. And I just imagine a world like that. So I really, really deeply commend you for compiling this list and then, articulating it flawlessly. You feel me? Like I appreciate you for, you know, I really hope and really know that we're gonna continue to do this because we're reiterating truth. Because truth must be repeated. Because if you tell me, like I probably heard everything that you said sparse throughout my conscious development, but the way that you organized it and presented it, you you compiled it and made it applicable. And so, thank you, man, for coming on here and expressing this. Is it a way that you could break it down 1 through 9 for the people that was taking notes and
yeah, I
just take
got
it
you.
home?
So number one is, first and foremost, you have to save yourself. It's all about your self determination. It's all about being responsible. It's all about pointing the finger back at yourself. No groupthink, no tribalism. You have to make the decisions that are best for you, and that takes courage. This number two is believe in the unseen. There's power in faith. There's power in vision. There's power in visualization. One reason is because you are utilizing brain waves. And we've talked about waves as far as sending out waves into the universe, about oxygen, about how the moon pulls the water from our body, and how the water is actually storing emotions. Our energy is in motion. So we have to use our visualization. Everything starts in the mind. The first thing that is created is first created in the mind. The chair that I'm sitting on was created in someone's mind. So we got to have belief in the unseen, faith in things that are not seen, and create that reality. Also, number three is use affirmations. Create statements, write down statements. I am abundant. I am powerful. I am courageous. I am saving money. I am moving forward in my life. I keep positive people around me. Money comes to me easily. I do not work hard for money. Money comes to me from various sources. Money comes to
Ashe.
me from unknown sources. Um, Number four is create holistic success. So, create holistic success. The first step is gratitude, because when you're grateful, you found things around you that you didn't know to appreciate, and you start to appreciate things. Those create good vibrations, good energies, good frequencies, good vibes. So you always want to be grateful. You always want to give good vibes out. Be the person that initiates good vibes. If someone is stressed out, if someone is acting crazy, always try to be the better person. And the better person doesn't mean that you don't protect yourself, or doesn't mean that you let someone run over you, because that's self love. And you always want to protect yourself because you love yourself. But at the same time, you always want to be the person that's giving good vibes out, even when the negative is out there. And life is a celebration. So celebrate the little wins, celebrate the little things that happen, good or bad. Well, not bad, of course. You don't want to celebrate the bad, but you want to celebrate the good things, and even in the bad things, you want to try to find the lesson in the bad, because it's all about
Facts.
why it happened, and so that it doesn't happen again. And number five is do something different. You cannot grow if you're doing the same things over and over. If you're doing things that you've continuously done and you have gotten at the same point. There was a point where I had to stop smoking weed for a while because I wasn't getting anywhere and I was stuck. And I love smoking weed. There's no person that loves smoking weed more than me. But
Facts.
eventually I was getting stuck. There was a point where I wasn't moving, where I wasn't doing the things that I needed to do. I was always going late to work, and I had to stop for a little while and get myself back in order and discipline myself with it. So you have to do things that are different. I also believe that there has to be some sort of physical fitness. You have to hardwire the body, because even if you study Chinese medicine, which I didn't get into, there's parts of the body that actually store different emotions physically. Your liver stores certain fears, and your heart, it deals with love and hate and anger and stuff like that physically. Like, energy is literally stored into your body. So when you practice physical fitness, you are actually working these things out of your body, especially when you're using visualization and affirmation. Number six is stop asking for permission and acceptance. Be yourself. Be who you're meant to be. If your family's not with it, fuck your family. If your friends aren't with it, fuck your friends. And not to say fuck your friends negatively, but when you look back and you're in that rocking chair at 90 years old, it's just going to be you and in
Facts.
that rocking chair. And you want to look back and say that you've maximized all your potential and you maximized all your talents. The fact that you're even watching something like this shows that you're different than your peers. It shows that you're different than some of your friends, and it shows that you're different than some of your family members. And there has to be
Facts.
a separation. You cannot seek permission and acceptance from them, because they may not accept you. And you have to understand that your mama may not accept you. You got to understand that your daddy may not accept you. And you have to be comfortable with that and still stand strong and firm in your path. And part of that is being courageous. And number seven, disrupt your environment. Your home is your temple. I remember the good brother, the hood mister, gave me a reading, and he was telling me about, getting a fountain. You might
Hmm.
hear him, getting a fountain, and, making my home my temple. If you look above me, That's my chakra. I wake up, my bed is faced that way, so I wake up every morning and I see that. To remind myself to stay enlightened and to be the sun and to bring light. And also to channel the right energy. So you want to have things around you that, you know, Kemet or Egypt was a center where everything around it was spiritual. From the pyramids to the statues to the monuments, everything around them was spiritual because it always reminded them on what they needed to do, and how they needed to get there, and also keeping your mind on ascension, growing, getting better, mastery. And number 8 is find true abundance. True abundance is 360. You want to get the money and you also want to have great relationships with people. You want to be financially wealthy and you want to be physically wealthy too. So take care of your health. That's true abundance. You don't want to be the fly nigga in the hospital, you know. So eat
I
good.
know a few.
Yeah, man, eat good. You know what I'm saying? Eat green foods. Try to balance it out. Don't say you don't have the money. Because if you have $300 sneakers, you got the money. If you're buying bags of weed, $50 worth of weed every day, you got the money. You know what I'm saying? Take one of them bags of weed and get you a green plate. Spend a little $15 on a plate and eat good. You know what I'm saying? Because that's your vehicle. You want to sustain your vehicle because you need to raise your vibration. You want to have access to different frequencies of light. And the only way to do that is to eat right because you don't want your stomach to be worried about digesting food that is bad for you and fighting off infections and shit like that. Your gut, they always say think from the gut because your gut has a lot of emotional receptors
Yeah.
to it. So the gut and the brain, they call the gut the second brain. So you want to take care of yourself. It's 360, 360 with family. You want to take care of your family. You want to make sure you are in good communications with your family. That's good for you. It's healthy. When you have good relationships with your family, you feel better. And of course, the family that's receptive. If you have family that's against you, of course, that's not a 360 abundance. You want to be 360 abundance. People friends that care for you, family that cares for you, people around you that cares for you. And money, you want to have wealth and you want to have a good relationship with money. You want to feel like you deserve all the money in the world. Like I don't have all the money in the world right now, but best believe I deserve all the money in the world. I
Facts.
believe that I know that I'm going to hit a certain financial goal and I'm going to put in the work to get there, by one way or another. And I'm putting the energy out there to know that that's a reality. But I already believe that. I already see myself on yachts. I already see myself in first classes. I already see myself in different states and different countries. So you have to put your visualizations there and see it 360 degrees abundance. So you have to see yourself abundant all 360, all of the ways that you can be abundant. 360 abundance is big. And visualize that always and put those practices in action. And number 9, my favorite is dream big and dance hard. Emotions are magic. That's where the magic comes from. And meditation is mind. So when you're dreaming big and when you're putting that visualization, putting and dancing and putting that energy towards that visualization, not only does it feel good, who doesn't like to dance, And if you can't dance, shit, do a two-step, clap, play some music, do something that's going to stir your emotions and
Yeah.
dream those dreams, man. Put that light to that dream, put that light out there because you want to co-create. So you create in the mind first. And if you're repeating these things mentally, guess what? Your body's going to start doing these things because it's a constant thought. If you're constantly thinking, you ever heard I remember this artist that was trash called Little Sean, right? And I hated Little Sean, right? But at the time, all I had was the radio. This is in the 90s. So
Mm-hmm.
I heard Little Sean's song so much, I started liking
Start
Little
liking
Sean.
it. Yeah.
I started liking Little Sean, right? So it's the same thing with thoughts that we think. If we keep thinking and keep visualizing ourselves in the gym, or we keep visualizing ourselves losing weight, or we keep visualizing ourselves meeting our perfect mate, or we keep visualizing on ourselves in a certain car, or we keep visualizing ourselves in a certain home, eventually you're going to start recognizing and seeing things that, oh, I could get this FHA loan, or oh, there's a deal right here on this car, or oh,
Mm,
maybe there's some money right here, or oh, maybe there's a new job. And then there's certain things that start to expose or start to enlighten itself to you, because now you putting that energy out there. So things must manifest for you. Things have to. And I've personally seen things manifest that I've never believed could happen just from
right.
me thinking it and just from me doing it repetitiously. And
Mm,
it's all about generating a frequency.
mm,
So the best way to generate that frequency is to dance, man. Put the power into it. Put your energy into everything that you're doing. Put your energy into your dreams. Put your energy into your goals. Put your energy into your ideas, man. That's why I say, man, dream big and dance hard,
yeah,
because
I
that's
like.
what those revivals was about, man. That's what all those African dances and all those tribal revivals, you see them in Africa, they always
Yeah,
dancing and doing their rituals and their magic. They're not
yeah.
sitting, they're not in a like a
Nah, they
Catholic
not
church.
chilling,
You know what I'm saying? They're
having,
not chilling. It's a party.
yeah,
It's a party. And that's how you want to be happy. That's what the secret says, right? Be in a good mood, visualize, you know what I'm saying? And get to work.
right. I don't quote me, but I think this is Mardi Gras week, or last week was Mardi Gras week. But I think
Mm-hmm.
Mardi Gras is on the cusp, and I think about Congo Square when you say it. Particularly, my mind goes straight to Congo Square, dream big and dance hard. Like, I know that's what it was about. Just that whole catharsis of just releasing that energy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Very profound, powerful build.
And who
And
don't feel good when they dancing, man? There's no way you
nah,
can't not feel good when you dancing. Now imagine if you dreaming of that big house when you dancing, or
right.
imagine you thinking about that big, stupid, great relationship you're gonna have while you dancing, or imagine you in your middle of your
Hey,
jog and you start thinking about that mortgage that you can afford, or that Benz that you want to drive. You know,
mhm. Yeah, and then you probably wouldn't even know how well it's gonna work because you didn't ever try it. So I guess what we're really pointing to is that, man, you should really try to dance and laugh your way into some magic. Like, is powerful and is actual, like it can happen, man, because it's very simple. Like, you see it all the time. I think, and another point, when you were speaking to emotions and dreaming big and dancing hard, it made me think of, damn, we already do it, but it's just not, we're not responsible and we don't have any will, and our emotions is triggered, and all of these things you spoke to, man. It's like you really put it down like a professor, and if we were to take this information seriously and take it at face value and simply attempt it, man, your life would change in a positive way. And I don't think you can get that any and everywhere. A conversation like this is very expensive, bro.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's years of heartache and pain, man. Years of isolation, years of being in good relationships, years of being around good people, years of being around bad people. And the thing about this is you're gonna go through trial and error. It's the hero's journey at the end of the day, and we all
Gotcha.
are on it, whether we want to be or not. Some people choose to accept it, and the hero is just basically you manifesting the best of you. What is your hero? What is your hero? What is your ultimate willpower? What is that supposed to take you to? What are you willing to sacrifice to get yourself to where you need to be? And that's what we all want to be at a certain level. We all see ourselves a certain way, and we all want to participate in the fruits of this particular persona that we want to have. So the best thing to do is to attack it. Like, we've all been to church, and the church has used these things against us. Like, we go to church, what's happening? The choir is going, the preacher's, and he's raising your vibrations, like literally raising vibrations, level for level or level. And then he takes you into prayer, which is basically, that's what you're doing. You're dreaming, right? You're visualizing. You're putting a idea or a prayer into, and when he gets you right there, then there comes the bucket with
Yo,
the donation. You know what I'm saying? So this is science that's used against us. And this is really, if you really go into church, this is taken from Freemasonry because it's always about music, it's always about raising emotion, and it's always about visualization. This is the way we manifest things. This is why visuals are used against us in commercials. You see visualization used against us and emotion. Why do you think they put humor in commercials? For what reason? They get us to laugh. Now I'm laughing at the Hershey commercial. That was
Yeah,
funny. I walk by, I see a Hershey bar. It
I want to
triggered.
buy it.
I'm triggered because I'm emotionally connected. So instead of
Um,
these emotions being used against us, we have to now figure out how to use these emotions. And instead of them using them against us, we have to use them for us and start to
indeed.
co-create, take that energy and re-manifest, recreate our emotion, create our own Hershey bar for our own thing that we want to see and manifest. We don't want it to be the Hershey bar. We wanted to see the deal on the new car. We wanted to see the you know what I'm saying, the FHA loan we might need, or the money that we might need for the new apartment or the new car and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about enlightenment at the end of the day. And
Enlightenment.
and it's a personal choice. We could follow people, but we always have to remember those people aren't us.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are not us. So those people are not walking our path, and we have to learn how to walk this path on our own. I heard Brother Polite say something one day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, how many people have been misled by this, right? So
Mm-hmm.
he was like, Polite, how you learn? You know, how do you learn? How was your memory? Because I wanted to know, it's like, how was your memory so good? Because he has a great memory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said he gave all these herbs, you know. And then I
Mm-hmm.
researched and looked up the herbs. Do you know all
Mm-hmm.
these herbs is really herbs for male potency? Like,
Mhm. I was gonna say fertility, but
yeah, that's
yeah.
all they were. You know what I'm saying? They
Mm-hmm.
basically dick herbs. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, but if you didn't do the research on what he said,
You
you would
just
really
took him
believe he
at
was
face
saying something
knowledge.
fly. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Something really fly. So we
Yeah.
have to be careful, even with the people that we say are our leaders.
Respect.
And we always have to, again, you have to save yourself
Mm-hmm.
because it's all about self love. And if
Mm-hmm.
you love yourself, you're going to protect yourself. Man, the internet is in the palm of our hands. There's
Yeah.
really no reason that we should fall victim to anything nowadays if we don't want to. But we have to watch what we're influenced by. And it's all about what we take in, our daily nutrition, our mental nutrition, you know, our mental nutrition, our physical nutrition. What do we eat physically? What do we eat mentally? And this is not to say you got to be a vegan because I hate some of those motherfuckers. They so arrogant sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you also have to treat your body right.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of it. You got to treat your body right, and you have to treat your mind right first and foremost, because the mind controls all. The mind is all. The mind is all. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to guard your third eye. Your
Indeed.
third eye is a pineal gland. Again, it is shaped like a pine cone. That means it has a point. So what are you focused on? What is your focus on a day-to-day basis? Is it gossip? Is it what T.I. is doing? Is it what Wendy Williams said? Is it what what Soldier Boy did yesterday? You know, what is your focus? What is your
Gucci.
pineal gland? What is on your mind on a day-to-day basis? Or is it self-improvement? Is it this magic? Is it this knowledge? And not knowledge for knowledge's sake so that you regurgitate it, knowledge so that you actually see things manifest in your life. Like you actually see yourself get a new car. Like you actually see yourself get the money you want. You actually see yourself get a new job. You actually see yourself with the man or the woman of your dreams. You're actually supposed to see these things. That's what this is for. That's why you're raising these waves so that you can manifest these things into your life, so that you could be at peace and so that you can be ultimate state of love.
Indeed.
That's what the sun is, right? The sun is love and peace, man. The
That's
sun
a
comes
fact.
out, it's a beautiful day. But it's a nice 70, 80-degree day. It's a beautiful day, sun shining. You know, you feel good, life is good, everything's a little bit brighter. But you have to bring the responsibility for us as humans is we have to generate that sunlight on our own.
That's
Being
big.
happy is a full-time job.
Mm-hmm. A full-time job. And so people who may want to reach out to you, and whether it be for readings or consultations or anything about you, how would they get in contact with you?
Yeah, you can hit me on Facebook, Rob Watson, ROBWATSON. You can hit me on Instagram, Rob_Black Storm. I do readings, do consultations, relationship advice. Hit me up. Um, you could also, mostly Facebook and Instagram. I also have a website, thirdeyeculture.com. You could check that out. I haven't updated it lately, but I am going to update it soon. And my YouTube channel also, Rob Black Storm.
Mm-hmm. And those links are in the description as well. So be sure to subscribe to his channel. Rob's putting out content that's life changing. So, he can always come on here, chop it up with me about anything, because as you can see, you're gonna come on the video and you're gonna leave the video much different. And I mean, shit, this is what consciousness is about. This is what spiritual development is about. So it's literally been a privilege, and get used to us. Get real used to us doing this. I'd rather do this, honestly, than anything in the world.
Yeah,
Just talk,
for
build,
chop
and
it up.
learn and chop it up and exchange ideas, because still sharpens still. And this is how I choose to use my platform. Anybody else can go for them, but I'm building, and this is beautiful. And I'm just, like I said, it's been a privilege, an honor. I'm grateful. I can't wait
Same
to
here, my
listen
brother.
to this again. You know what I'm saying?
Same here.
And I already got 3 pages of notes, and dog, like, thank you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, let's co-create, Let's
yeah, for
co-create.
sure, for sure.
Co-create.
I'm 1,000% down for that. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And
Oh,
that's how
next
we're gonna
video,
grow.
real quick. Next video I'm gonna drop on my YouTube. I'm going into the 3 levels of man,
The
the
3
three levels of
levels of
man.
okay,
Three levels of man. I'm gonna get into the comedic tree of life a little bit. So I'm
indeed.
not gonna physically be on the video, but I'm gonna use the tree and
Mhm.
go into some science. So look out for that, y'all.
You about to get your Morgan Freeman on, all right? Hey, bro, get it in.
Hey
You know what I'm
man,
saying?
I'm trying
Like,
to be like you, babe. I'm
nah,
trying to be
man.
like you, man.
Like, look, man, we gonna be catching them first class flights together, bro. That's how
That's
it's
the
gonna roll.
goal.
You know what
That's
I'm
the
saying?
goal.
We gonna work
Yeah, man.
together and manifest something beautiful, man. So I'm more than
Thank you
fortunate.
for having me on your channel, man. I appreciate it. Thank
Thanks for
y'all for
coming, man.
tuning in. Y'all who are watching, I appreciate y'all
Facts.
too, man.
For
Hit
sure.
me up.
Be sure to hit Rob up. Be sure to hit me up. Let us
And
know in the
subscribe too.
comments some content that y'all might want to see from us, different interviews and things of that nature. Um, we looking for a female to do a show, so you know what I'm saying. Hit us
For real.
up. You know what I'm
What's
saying.
up?
We got a beautiful idea. We just need that third or fourth female energy to kind of put this thing together. So reach out
Mhm.
about that. Either me or Rob. Other than that, man, it's been beautiful. Rob, be sure to hit me up. Check
Yes.
everybody out. Tomorrow I'm gonna be doing my new moon in Aquarius video. Try to do a part 2. But other than that, man, y'all have a good night, man. Thank you, bro.
Peace.
Peace.